I don't know, everybody's turning into Ryan Johnson. You know, David Foster Wallace talked about this with irony on Charlie Rose, that, you know, writers starting to become meta, especially this postmodernism, and that was being really prominent and going into the 90s, that people are too caught up in the irony that they aren't writing these organic stories. You know, it's all about subversion, it's all about these meta things. And I think this postmodern mindset has affected a lot of the writers today who, instead of really sticking to their internal logic and writing out their stories, they're more concerned with being aware about the fact that they're writing a story, and how audiences today are more savvy to stories and structures. So they're trying to show that they're smarter than the audience member. So instead of impressing the audience with a good story, like The Red Wedding, by using logic to show that these mistakes Robb Stark made cost him, now it's more like, well, you think this is going to happen, let's just do the total opposite. And it doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. It's just the writer, the filmmaker, trying to show you that they're so much smarter than you, and look how clever they are, that they could trick you like that. But they don't realize that we're so savvy, especially with like video essays today, that we know what they're doing before they even do it. So it's predictable when they do that kind of subversion, instead of, on the other hand, doing something that you've never seen before, like killing Ned Stark. We never saw something like that on a show. Having Dany get killed and the Night King winning the battle, for the most part, would have been something we hadn't really seen. That you can't really fight death. But they didn't want to commit to that. Same thing with Endgame not committing to. Maybe the snap is always going to affect them. Maybe everybody doesn't get to come back. And maybe Thanos isn't even happy about it. It could have been more complex. It makes all of these things so much more or less complex. They're instead just kind of messes. They're kind of incoherent messes of stories. All of these great modern stories, because they think the idea of a story, what people are thinking about the story, matters more than actually structuring and fleshing out the details to a story. And the details are really what make everything work. There's a lack of detail. There's a lack of intelligence, where you actually feel like the people writing this are clever. You know, I used to think D&D were really clever back in the early days. I thought they put a lot of effort into Game of Thrones and the stuff they added. I can't believe the same guy who wrote Brick wrote The Last Jedi. You know, I can't believe we're in this world. And now the attack comes on the fans. Basically, you're angry white troll fanboys who hate to see women in movies. You hate to see women in power. You don't like that the world's changing. And you don't like that the art is changing with it. Because you're not progressive enough, and you're not empathetic enough, and that you're not ready for the new. When really you're just critiquing bad storytelling. But they're blaming it on us because they're still making money. Game of Thrones is still huge. Avengers is still making money. You know, Star Wars still makes money. And then we're like, well, hey, well, what about this? They're like, no, you're just a Nazi. You're just a troll. You don't want to join up with everybody else. Well, I'm like, well, if this is where the future is going, is this the kind of stuff that people think is good? Which I thought the reason we liked things like this to begin with, why we originally liked Game of Thrones, or why we were excited about new Star Wars films, is because we got tired of that old shit. And now here we are, and they're going back to that shit. And now we're supposed to praise it because there's a girl now instead of a guy being the generic hero character. No, you're just a bunch of fucking hacks. I'm not a Nazi, you're a hack. And you're so fucking defensive and insecure about it because deep down you know it's true, that you'll cling on to anything before everyone exposes you. Because history will show as time goes on and reveal you for the poor artist that you were, and how condescending you were, and misguided you all were. And you think just because we're a vocal minority on the internet that we don't have any impact, but the truth is that a lot of people think The Last Jedi sucks. Almost everyone I talk to thinks that movie sucks. A lot of people are going to have problems with Endgame. And yeah, Game of Thrones is still a cultural phenomenon. But looking back on it at whole, you're going to have people saying, yeah, the first few years are good, but it goes to shit after that. And you're going to have to hear that the rest of your life. And you could take all that money to the bank, and more power to you. I got no problem with you guys being rich. But if you're all going to be pricks about it and not open to criticism, especially you, Ryan Johnson, I don't know. You know, I guess the Empire really did win. And the hope for a future of movies where anything could happen, that did happen. The escapism that was promised to us by George Lucas with Star Wars, it did happen, but at a price. I don't know, we gave up verisimilitude, we gave up honesty, we gave up transparency, and in many ways, it's no longer about just giving us a glimpse of hope. It's about giving us a glimpse of hope and then twisting the knife and then just giving us something that nobody really wanted because you couldn't come up with something. And then I have to settle for your mediocrity. And then I have to be criticized for your mediocrity. Yeah, I don't think so.